The marriage of Monaco's ruler Albert Grimaldi and ex-athlete Charlene Whittstock is clearly a bad example of a marital relationship. Their 2011 wedding was marked by the bride's tears, and observers have been waiting for the couple to separate ever since. Most likely, the official divorce will not be, but also lived in happily ever after. Prince and princess clearly not threatened. And not the least role in the collapse of this union played, strangely enough, the Grimaldi family, and specifically Princess Caroline, the ambitious older sister of Albert. So what happened between her and Charlene? Let's figure it out. Prince Albert II Grimaldi, Duke of Valentinois, got married as early as 53 years old, and before that he was going through brides and denied himself nothing, twice becoming a father on the side. And the mother of his youngest son Eric Alexander, a dark-skinned flight attendant Nicole Costa, has become a real problem for Charlene. The woman not only achieved a DNA analysis, recognizing the paternity of Albert, but still does not give up, with all her might keeping a place in the life of the prince. Perhaps, if the legitimate wife of the ruler of Monaco could find support in his family, it would change the balance of power. But, alas, Charlene has made a powerful detractor by the very fact of her appearance. And, it seems, in this competition, the former member of the South African Olympic swimming team will not win. The heir's marriage to Whittstock broke the heart of the eldest daughter of the late ruler of Monaco, Prince Rainier, and movie star Grace Kelly. Princess Caroline felt robbed of her role as First Lady, which she had enjoyed for years while her brother walked around as a bachelor. And it wasn't Charlene's personality. Any woman in her position would have caused Caroline's displeasure. But it is Whittstock who is caught up in a cruel mix of her husband's dark past and the antipathy of her highborn sister-in-law. And, it seems, completely fails to cope with it. At every opportunity, the princess leaves Monaco. She was recuperating in her native South Africa, treated for exhaustion in Switzerland, and now, as they say, also does not live permanently with her husband and children, but only occasionally appears to perform ceremonial duties in exchange for communication with twins Jacques and Gabriella, who were born in 2014. Caroline née Grimaldi is third in line to the throne of Monaco. In 1999, she married Prince Ernst August of Hanover and became Princess of Hanover. 10 years later Caroline separated from her husband and returned to her homeland to officially represent the ruling House of Monaco, which has more influence and preferential treatment than the German nobility. Albert's older sister has always been an important person. Her role in the royal family came to the fore after the death of her mother Grace Kelly. Since 1982, Caroline has served as the de facto First Lady of the Principality, first alongside her father Rainier III and then her brother. After Grace's death, a miracle happened, Prince Rainier said. Princess Caroline has stepped into her mother's shoes. She is as strong as her mother. The way she is handling the work entrusted to her gives me great satisfaction. After Rainier's death in 2005, Albert ascended the throne and his sister has always been by his side. I was brought up with a sense of duty, obedience and guilt, she once said. What I had to do was always more important than what I wanted to do. According to Brittany Barger, a European expert on the modern monarchy, Caroline first of all was used to being in the public eye from childhood, and secondly, she took on the role of First Lady and all the responsibility that came with that role. She was for a long time the only official woman by Albert's side and handled both the blows and the benefits of such a position equally well. And when Caroline needed to step back into the shadows so that Charlene could take center stage, it caused tension in the family. It took Albert quite a while to settle down, so perhaps Caroline thought the role of leading would stay with her forever, Barger suggests. It should be remembered that before Charlene, Caroline was first in line to the throne, followed by her children. Until Albert married Charlene and they had twins, Caroline had a real chance to take the throne. Insiders shared information about mutual dislike of Caroline and Charlene from the day of the wedding. The palace even had to spread the information that in fact the two women became good friends, and Charlene borrowed from her sister-in-law a hairpiece for the bride's hair, where brunette Caroline got a blonde hairpiece, and whether it made Charlene cry at the altar an open question. In rare joint outings, acting and former First Lady, of course, did not cling to each other's hair, but also signs of great mutual love did not demonstrate. The first years of Albert's marriage gave hope. When the twins were born, Charlene looked serenely happy. However, she soon continued her transformation into Princess Nesmeiana. Whittstock increasingly looked lost and depressed at official events. One of the reasons for this obfuscation is not in doubt. Nicole Costa with all her might captured Albert's attention and insisted that he was as much as possible to communicate with both her and her illegitimate son Alexander, and, most sadly for Charlene, the Grimaldi family accepted the boy and his mother into its fold. Albert and Caroline's younger sister, Princess Stephanie, became his godmother. Caroline's children got to know the stewardess's son and began to maintain a kinship and friendship with him. In 2021, Whittstock's nerves failed. She traveled to South Africa, disappeared completely off the radar and reportedly contracted a complicated infection that prevented her from deciding to make the return trip. This explanation was apparently sewn with white threads. Before her disappearance, Charlene had shaved off half her head, had lost a painful amount of weight, and was clearly experiencing serious psychological problems. And Caroline was again in the main roles. She not only returned to the function of the First Lady, but also helped Albert to take care of Gabrielle and Jacques. Those, by the way, immediately began to spend time in the company of the prince's illegitimate children, Jasmine Grace and Eric Alexander. Hardly all this contributed to the speedy recovery of poor Charlene. Nevertheless, the princess officially returned to Monaco in 2022. But it became clear pretty quickly, this woman is broken. Formally, she remains the ruler's wife and diligently appears in the light, and attention is drawn to her every outing. The result is the same. Whittstock's face is impenetrable, and her body language suggests maximum detachment from her husband, and even more so from her sister-in-law, who is also protocol at many important receptions. It doesn't seem to get any worse. When Eric Alexander gave an interview to the French press in August 2023 in honor of his 20th birthday and resented being referred to as Prince Albert's illegitimate son, there was no comment from the Monegasque court. Both Albert and Caroline are happy with everything and Charlene's feelings do not particularly bother them. However, she can be calm. Thanks to the laws adopted by Prince Rainier, the throne will definitely inherit her son Jacques. But is it worth all those years of unhappiness and, indeed, loneliness? We don't know.